Relevant but not so relevant. You know their hits, maybe not by name or even their actual name. They've been around for a while. At this point in their career, if the stars align, they might have been icons or at least a definitive star of their generation. But instead, they are seasonal hitmakers, and more of a vessel for the pop machine and pop radio than the driving force behind it that incites fanfare for their individuality. Zara Larsson, the Swedish pop girl with a voice adjacent to Rihanna, made her name with hits like Lush Life and Never Forget You. She has the looks, she has the voice, she has the hit appeal, and she is genuinely talented. Even if her music isn't the most standout from whatever landscape it's released in. Zara isn't the most consistent, and it's likely no fault of her own. She made headlines by calling out her label for stifling her releases. So there was likely a lot of behind the scenes drama. She now owns her catalog and started her own label. In a perfect world, I imagine Zara Larsson would have fared better if she was more consistent, and if she had a boost by taking on other entertainment avenues as well, like acting, fashion, and modeling. Mabel. Mabel is someone I thought would fall into Dua Lipa territory, and eventually revamp into something a bit more interesting. Unfortunately, she has settled into faceless club bop territory. I still really like Don't Call Me Up though. Hailee Steinfeld. Hailee is unique in the sense that she has had pretty big success in both music and movies, yet remains more of a personality than a bona fide commodity on either side of the spectrum. She's had massive hits with songs like Love Myself and Starving, and although she's been making music for nearly a decade, she's never released an album. I think that says enough, even more so considering her biggest hits take from the faceless EDM era of the 2010s. Bebe Rexha, probably the most popular hitmaker that's not a pop star from the 2010s decade. She's been around writing or making hit songs for about a decade at this point. She has continuously expressed dissatisfaction with the success or lack thereof with some of her albums and projects throughout the years. Getting a hit single doesn't seem to be an issue for Bebe, but attaining pop stardom and pandemonium does seem to be an issue. She's made comments about meeting people in real life and them not knowing that it was her singing on her own songs. Bebe has also faced some industry struggles, with not getting proper credit. She spoke about having Monster with Rihanna and Eminem strong-armed from her, and initially being left off the credits for the song Hey Mama, even though she was singing the chorus. The VMAs also had Britney Spears perform her hit song Me, Myself, and I while excluding Bebe from the award show. So she hasn't had the best luck as it pertains to always getting her fair share of credit. But I will say regardless, Bebe's output is just a bit all over the place. Ava Max. Ava Max is a more current addition, and she also has a bit of an inflated sense of herself as an artist. And she is talented, but simply being talented isn't always enough to gain the type of fanfare one might want. She has released some good songs, albeit a lot of cringe ones as well. I think there's an ultimate disconnect with Ava's image in a modern day pop world. It all just feels so contrived and label made. From the attempted and failed iconography of the Max cut, to the soccer mom attempts at coming across as edgy, it's all just a bit meh. But she has coasted in an area of faceless and sometimes well-made dance pop songs for a minute now. Rita Ora. Rita started off a bit more adjacent to Rihanna, and turned to dance features to continue to pump up her career. She's been active for a decade and only has released 3 albums. There seems to be a trend with these type of artists and their lack of output. There was also a 6-year gap between her debut and sophomore album. She did face a bit of label troubles, and didn't feel that she was getting the proper treatment and promotion that she wanted. But Rita Ora is doing well for herself, and has completely transformed into a socialite and TV personality. Anne-Marie. Anne-Marie reminds me a lot of Bebe Rexha with her sense of direction. And before she became a big pop feature artist, had much more interesting songs like Stole, for example. She's most known for her songs Rockabye and Friends nowadays though, and they literally sound exactly like songs Bebe Rexha would sing a hook on. Jessie Glynne. She broke out with a string of motivational anthems like Hold My Hand, as well as one of the best pop songs of the 2010s, Rather Be, alongside Clean Bandit. She has a unique tone and pops up every now and then with a hit, but outside of the stroke of genius with Rather Be, her music is genuinely unremarkable in almost every sense. so I can't say I'm very surprised that she hasn't established much of a core fan base. Ellie Goulding. I feel like Ellie started off in a very interesting position. She had warm commercial and critical success at the beginning of her career, and probably the most credibility out of these lane of artists, and she still does relatively well. But I get the sense that as time went on, she spread herself a bit thin, and became more attached to brands, endorsements, and other moments rather than her own identity. And as a result, a lot of her music became much more generic as time went on. But songs like Love Me Like You Do and Lights are still genuinely good and effective pop songs. I think it's also important to reiterate that not everyone wants to be mega famous and have extreme fanfare. Being a pop singer is a job at the end of the day. With that being said, a lot of the people listed have in fact expressed their desires for such things, but some have made more efforts than others. I think it'd be kind of cool to get a cross collaboration with some of these ladies and see how it turns out.